Here's some more truth, ladies and gentlemen. Here's some truth for you, John. It's not all bad. You are a GOAT, but so am I. And I've beaten you in my hometown, and I've beaten you in your hometown, and I will beat you at Night of Champions. You are the GOAT that I will spit roast and sacrifice to the gods of wrestling. Legends who actually belong on a Mount Rushmore. Guys like Terry Funk, Harley Race, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero. The audacity to put yourself on a Mount Rushmore once, let alone 4 times. You're a joke.
In 3, 2, 1, clap.
Huh?
Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
There's barbecue sauce. So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle.
Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. Oh, no way. I was kidding. I swear to God. It was just the first thing that came to my head. It was the first thing.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts ODM and the Professor.
Good Wrestling Day! It's me, the Professor, he is ODM, and this is the Top of Wrestling Podcast, as we are here every Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and VX. And it is a good wrestling day, because we didn't have a whole lot to really unfold from this past week, not a whole lot of pay-per-view stuff, but there are some results I do want to go over, and a couple of things that we did see online from both New Japan and AAA from both this past Saturday/Sunday. First, we'll also tell you, we got news, we got results, bringing it to the table, reliving the Monday Night Wars with a pay-per-view this week, but never underestimate WCW with what they're going to bring. And this week, our top topic had to get reminded to me by you on Saturday night during our phone call. It is favorite comedy albums. So, well, I already mentioned you. Hey, how are you, ODM?
Oh, I'm actually doing pretty good, all things considered. You know, we were talking about the... wait a minute, so he cooks and we all just show up and sit around? My Q, I sent him a picture of everything I had on the smoker yesterday because it was Father's Day, Kayfabe Pal this past Sunday, and I just invited my parents over and I just fired up the smoker. I sent you the picture, right? Mm-hmm. And I sent it to the other text group, and Q sends back a meme. It's the same picture of a dad standing at a grill, same picture twice. Mother's Day, Father's Day. Which is exactly how it went this year. So, yeah, I mean, I guess thank God for a good night's rest and lots of water.
I will say the funny thing I did see, it wasn't necessarily about Father's Day, but it just was before you and I recorded, and it made me laugh. And it says, how I feel when I get done mowing the lawn, and you see just a fat Italian shirtless guy just stand there looking, and you're hearing, "You're the best around." And I was like, that's how I feel, man. When I'm getting done mowing, I'm like, look at that fucking yard. It is.
When was the last time you cut the grass?
I did hear it. And, up here, I with a pair of scissors around the RV. That's
I'm not even going there. Nope.
Oh shit! I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
Let's get into some wrestling news. So, American Gladiators is back. Why is that wrestling news? Well, it's going to be hosted by The Miz. And I'm wondering if that's why I don't know, he took all his affiliation away on X from, WWE. I don't know if he went back to that, but he's going to be the host of Gladiators, and 3 named people so far who will be participants. Camille,
I think they're going to be gladiators.
That's what I mean by they're going to be gladiators.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, characters. Camille from AEW, Rick Boogs, and Wardlow. First of all, I really hope part of Rick Boogs' gimmick is that when you get to him, he gets to hit you with an electric guitar.
That'd be awesome. Better be.
I like the original version. You know,
hard
Nitro,
to beat it.
Blaze, Glaze,
Blazer, Taser.
Yeah. It was, I liked it back in the early 90s. I don't know if I'll appreciate this as much. I'll maybe give it one episode to see if it's worth it, but I'm sure it's going to be dog shit.
It's going to be dialed back, because the old school one, the Gladiators fucking were ruthless. They were ruthless.
My favorite game was getting the ball, the soccer ball or whatever it was, into those trash cans that moved around on the floor, and they would jack people up right there, like straight spearing. Like, put Braun Breaker into this. Then I'll be into this if you let him go full throttle.
Right, and the final obstacle course, you had to run through one of 4 doors that was like paper, and there was gladiators behind 2 of them. Oh, dude, they used to blindside them.
Choose which one. I forgot about that. I was like, yeah, the guns, but you're right about that. As soon as you get through, you had to choose the right one, and you could get knocked the fuck out. It is going to be dialed back. It'll probably be completely scripted. I don't know if the one was back in the early 90s, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a documentary on it.
There were some guys who looked like they were just accountants, and they're like, well, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Weekend warriors. 9 to 5 jobs, and, you know.
I'll give it one episode.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So it's been a full year since Hikuleo left New Japan, and just this past Friday night, he debuted before SmackDown on WWE Main Event. It's funny because there were reports days before Hikuleo was going to be making his debut this Friday on SmackDown, and it was so many reports that I think they purposely were like, fuck, well, we're going to put you on Main Event this week and steer it for a second, because everyone was almost expecting Hikuleo to show up, and I don't know. That's just my assumption, but either way, he's probably going to just align with Solo, right? It
would make sense, yeah, because you don't want really anybody with Jacob Fatu, right? You want Fatu to kind of go his own way. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa have kind of faded. You know what I mean?
Well, what did Tonga Loa, or did Tama Tonga get injured?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing anything about it. We haven't reported on that, but he's definitely been like, I see him every once in a while, but he's definitely not around as much.
It's been more of like since before WrestleMania is the last time I remember seeing him, long before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. Tonga Loa probably botched something.
Probably.
So, you know, I like to watch and listen to my CVV, and this past one was James Storm. Cowboy James Storm, which I'm a huge fan of Beer Money. I thought it was just a good put-together tag team. When they both went single, it was definitely the Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty of it. Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, Bob Roode went on to be TNA champion for, I think it was close to a year or just over. James Storm did have the one title win, and it sucks because they did, like, back in this time, they were doing the old Raw routine where they would be live one night and then after record the next week, so that you could, you know, that's how they would do it. And it sucked because everybody knew James Storm's world title win, beating Kurt Angle within 20 seconds, was leaked 6 days before. I'm sure everybody tuned in to see it, but it would suck that it like happened that early.
Right.
So he was the Marty Jannetty of the group. Anyway, his whole talk is, and I'm sure you remember, he showed up in NXT at one point.
Mm-hmm.
2 matches. Won both of them, and that's it. So he was asked, he said it was William Regal that said, hey, they do want to offer you a contract. There is this is what they're going to offer, this many dates. And he goes, okay. And I think it was maybe just under what TNA was offering him. And they go, but could you maybe shed some? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Because he was a fat cowboy. He drank his beer. And so he did trim down. And when it came time and he was looking at it, they added I believe it was 25 extra dates that weren't in that original contract. And he talked with Hunter and said, could you please match or be just a touch, like, he's like, I don't care if it's a couple dollars over what TNA is offering me. Can you do that for me? And he said, I just can't do it. And he was referring to that Vince wouldn't pull the trigger. Triple H would have, but he wouldn't.
Gotcha.
And he was just having a kid, and he said for me not to move anything like that at all because he could stay right where he was. He ended up staying with TNA, making, you know, somewhat of the same amount of money for the next 2 years. But it sucks because I always was a big fan of James Storm, and I wanted him in WWE because he was a character. He was a gimmick. It was something that actually worked. Problem is, I already saw what they did to Bob Roode, so it's not like he was going to be much better. Did you happen to see the rant from Rikishi?
Oh, I've seen a few of them. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We've seen it before. Yeah. Knock it off.
Bitch.
Yeah, your time is over. Be glad that your son was naturally over enough to the point where they took advantage of it and gave him a push. You should have known the title reign wasn't going to be anything worth writing home about and that it wasn't going to last. Everybody got their yeet on. Now everybody's ready for a nap, so.
And it's funny because I've seen so many, you know, people making memes about it. And it's like, this is what Rikishi would do if he was in charge of WWE. And it was like, Roman's your world champ, Rock is this champ, Tongaloa and Tama Tonga. Like, it's just, the bloodline will be every champ.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm like, yo, your family has been on top, nonstop, for the last 4 years minimum, as tag champs, world champs, mid-card champs. He got a huge WrestleMania win. Everybody lost their mind. It was cool. It was great. But we both said how long until it just fizzles right out. We called it, like, at Royal Rumble, we were already over.
Yeah.
Him.
Mm-hmm.
But we ran with the ride. Okay, that's fine. Let's do it. I can get a good moment. I'll take it. Predictable, but fine. Hated the fucking tap out.
Same.
Yeah, but and it's funny because, okay, you know, hey guys, we recorded earlier than we normally do, so we actually didn't get to discuss Raw last week. And yeah, Gunther won the fucking world title in the main event, and I was sitting there waiting for a bullshit swerve of some way for it to happen. I go, oh my god, they actually let him have the title back.
I wish we had talked about it because I didn't realize when we recorded that was the main event for Raw. Yep. I kind of figured it was going to happen. I was like, this is perfect. Just fucking unceremoniously just do it on Raw.
And I did get some stats that people put together. Maybe you've seen them, maybe you haven't, but I thought this was really good. This is, since Triple H took over, it's the first world title change that is outside of a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam.
Wow.
First world title reign that was under 100 days. Minus the cash-in on Drew, that obviously doesn't count, you know what I'm saying? But like with someone who actually had the title reign, it's the first one under 100 days. That's how long everybody's been holding world titles. Seth Rollins had his like 9 months. Obviously, you know what happened with Roman, then Cody. So that's kind of big because normally I was assuming Jey Uso was going to unfortunately carry this all the way into SummerSlam. And it's the first Raw that had a world title change since Big E did his cash-in 2021 on Bobby Lashley.
Oh, wow.
That was the Thunderdome era.
Oh, God.
And it's also the first real title feud in a very long time, obviously also since Triple H took over, where it's actually title swapping. Like, we've seen it in the Attitude Era, what we're watching with Rock and Austin handing it back and forth, something like that. We don't see that. Usually it's just on to the next participant. It doesn't go right back to that next person. Jey Uso, yeah, he defended it against Logan Paul, but that's pretty much it. And then he faced Gunther. So I appreciate that they're switching it up a bit because everything was too predictable of how long everybody's going to hold the world title. I'm in assumption that John Cena's holding this title all the way till November or December.
It makes sense. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen, and Cody's just going to take it off of him. It's just, what do they do after that with Cena? Do they do it right at the end at his last date and Cena just walks off in the sunset, or do they give him a few weeks to kind of regain sympathy from the fans, you know?
He just goes, and end scene.
Yeah, right.
I was a good guy all along.
I told you, just have Uncle Howdy come in, the lights go out, they come back out, and John Cena's gone forever.
It would be the best follow-up. Like, that would mean, like, everything that happened from the Firefly Funhouse thing at WrestleMania 36. It's like he's been fucked up and in a trance ever since. It would have been it would have been a nice little send off.
That's why I said that. Yeah, if they did something to revisit that, and then Titus O'Neil has to be there to be like, I don't know what just happened. Good night, folks.
Bring him in just for that. I don't even know. He's probably just still an ambassador.
Yeah.
But speaking of Jey Uso, he was just given the extra King of the Ring qualifying match, which happened, this past Monday. Again, this is us predicting it a day and hours before Raw hits while recording this. We already know that it's Cody, Randy Orton, and Sami Zayn in the semifinals. It's going to be Jey Uso. It's going to be the four of them in the final four.
Yep.
My issue with this: why are you doing the semis on TV? King of the Ring, can these guys not go 2 matches in one night? And if so, take that person out. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably Randy, but why can't you just do them, the semifinals and the finals, on one night? I already hated that they took away the 8-man bracket, because I used to like that. Okay, could you at least give me the 4-man version for one show? I like a tournament, at least a little bit.
Wait till we get to the Monday Night Wars.
Well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
but this
what you're talking about.
This one annoys me a bit.
Yeah, so you think Randy's going to win, huh?
Oh, no, I don't think Randy's going to win. I'm saying that.
Oh.
I meant like if you can't go 2 matches in one night, as in Randy can go to the finals. I'm saying and lose. I'm just saying that
Gotcha.
Right now, I think it's it'll be Cody versus Uso, Randy versus Sammy.
I don't remember what the matchups are. I haven't looked at the bracket, so
I haven't either because I don't care that much. Because
exactly.
We've been going over. I'm like, great, Cody's King of the Ring. He's going to face John Cena at SummerSlam. Yay!
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one.
Unless they pull the trigger early and let him win the title at SummerSlam, so John Cena has some time to turn around. I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it either. I think if that's going to happen, it's going to be Survivor Series because then it gives them like a month.
Who has the Money in the Bank right now? I forgot it was just last week, too. Oh, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So, now, this was kind of funny. My Facebook memories, it's like, hey, I got one for you. It's with Wheezy and ODM. I go, no shit. I click on it, and it was you who posted and tagged a couple of different people, including that boy, because at that time you didn't know. But anyway, you wrote Okada versus Omega 2. It was Dominion from 2017. And in the post, everybody was like, are you actually staying up and watching this? And I said, yo, ODM, I got it for you. I'll send you the show. And then Wheezy goes in there texting, you guys and your dolls, like making fun of us for watching wrestling. And I wrote in there for like in current date now. I tagged Wheezy. I go, oh, how the turntables have turned. So it was it's just funny how someone mocked you all of a sudden. They're like, man, wrestling's good.
Yeah.
Told you.
And he's seen the first Omega Okada. He hasn't seen the second one. I remember that, man, because I remember the finish, and I know Wheezy listens and hasn't seen the second one, so I won't spoil the ending. But I remember with the ending, my brother, who wasn't, is probably about the same now as he was then, where he'll just check shit out every once in a while. He'll keep up with stuff on the news, right? And I don't know if he actually watched the match or if he just saw the finish. And he's like, what kind of dumb shit was that? I'm like, it was perfect. Come on.
It made sense for the feud. But I called that finish maybe about 15 minutes left of the match. I was like, this is it. I already know what's going to happen. And I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. Let's not talk too much about it. But because of that, in honor of that, it triggered my want to rewatch it. Because, yes, they're going to be facing each other coming up at All In Texas. And I was like, I might as well see the good stuff one more time before they do a bad version of what they used to do. And I watched both Dominion 2017 and then I watched Dominion 2018. I go, oh, well, fuck it. Let's just go all the way through and watch them all. The only thing I absolutely hate about the 2 out of 3 Falls one at 2018, Don Callis was the commentator.
Yeah.
And he was just annoying. I always found him annoying.
Yep.
Take over the rest of the news here. I see you have some things you want to say.
I actually contributed this time. Remember back in the day when I did most of the news? Yeah, that doesn't happen much anymore.
Well, it's a team effort.
It certainly is.
It's because of the effort you do in the wars.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, fair enough that, yeah. And
I would speed through. I'd be like, there was 3 matches that no one gave a fuck about.
Oh, we got to take the piss out of it, though, too. So I saw something interesting. Undertaker, he had 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. And he had his buddy, I think one of the head guys at, like, 9 Line, which is, like, the Veterans Apparel.
Then I saw a skeleton was there, too, right?
Yeah, well, there's a skeleton now there on the show. Apparently now the podcast has been renamed to 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker, and it is under the WWE umbrella. Now, as if it wasn't bad enough that on the LFG show, which is another WWE show, that they replaced Mickie James with Michelle McCool, why not do it on a podcast, too? This is the aforementioned skeleton. Michelle McCool is now the co-host of 6 Feet Under. So the podcast that, admittedly, I didn't listen to a ton, but I liked listening to, I think I'm all set now.
Yep, we're done now. I don't want to hear her fucking input.
But here's the thing. Apparently, one of the things they talked about on the first show, and that's the best thing, the first show with Michelle McCool as the co-host, the special guest was Michelle McCool.
I hope next week's special guest is Undertaker.
Yeah.
American Badass version.
But apparently, after the day after WrestleMania 41, Undertaker had emergency heart surgery.
Oh.
So this is what Michelle McCool had to say on the 6 Feet Under podcast. It's because of heart issues you've been having weeks prior, which by the grace of God, we found out just by, it ended up being terrifying. The day we got home from WrestleMania, the next day at 6 a.m., we were at the hospital for a little bit of heart surgery. Taker said that he wasn't supposed to go to Vegas for the WrestleMania festivities, and Michelle McCool responded with, "You weren't supposed to go anywhere. You didn't want me to tell anyone. Not fair to me, not fair. We were in the hospital for 4 nights, 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Yeah, you weren't supposed to go. I'm not mad at it because I'd probably be the same way, but it was terrifying. I couldn't focus on anything else. All I wanted to focus on was you, your heart, and getting you with the best cardiologist," which we eventually did, but that took a lot of phone calls. Several nights in the hospital. By the grace of God, you are here again. But out of the words of the doctor himself, it could have turned out badly if we had not found out that day. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully he's okay now.
It was probably the Travis Scott ending, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that would have done it. That almost happened to me, too. Shit. All right. So I got one more thing in here, I think.
You got 2.
Actually, no, I got 2 things. I skipped right over one.
You did.
Have you ever, you know that, a thing that happens at baseball games is they get somebody famous or a local celebrity or hero or something to throw out the first pitch, right?
A Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah, sure. No, that was just, never mind. Did you ever see 50 Cent's pitch?
Yes.
He spiked it into the dirt.
Shit.
Yeah, no, he just it went like 3 feet. Well, Tiffany Stratton was at the Mets game, and she got to throw out the first pitch. She almost threw it into the front row of the fans behind home plate. It was fucking bad.
There.
Yeah, there is a net there, thankfully. Yeah, it was terrible. Terrible. All right, and then the last thing, I saw this on Twitter today. Dude, this is all levels of fucked up. I'm not sure. I'm sure we have referenced the website, Dirt Sheet, whatever you want to call it, called Wrestle Votes. I'm sure we've heard of them.
A couple times.
Okay, there you go. So they put out a tweet. This was sometime in the last week. I want to say it's pretty recent. And, yeah, it says, the quote is, Paul Levesque's pen. Right? And below there's a picture. It's a split screen. And on the left side, it's Logan Paul holding up the U.S. title. And above it says, Future GOAT. And then on the right-hand side, it's Carmelo Hayes. And it says, N-word, with the N crossed with a red X through it. Now, that's kind of out of pocket. I know we talk mad shit, and we even say some, questionable shit, but that's kind of fucked up. Even if you want to call Triple H a racist, just call him a racist.
Yeah.
And the best part is, Carmelo Hayes replied. He said, I don't give a fuck if this is a meme. Don't put this word over my picture. Which I think is pretty justifiable to say.
beyond justifiable. I think he could have said and blew it up in a much worse way, and he was just like, "Yo, fuck you," basically. You know what I mean? Like, and just moving along. It's bullshit that someone even did that. I saw that and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like I hate to say this, memes are supposed to be fucking clever. You know what I'm saying? That's just a racist fucking meme. It's
right.
Dumb shit.
You
Are
turned
you saying
out
that WrestleVotes made this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know if they made it or not, if they passed it on, but you basically tried to call somebody a racist and you made yourself look like a racist. You worked yourself into a shoot, brother.
Wow, that's actually wow. No shit. Well, look at you.
Yeah, gotta be good something.
Fancy terminology and shit.
I think that's all I got. And we can move on to some papers.
Yes, you do. Okay, all right. I thought you had one more for some reason. All right, so this past weekend we did have a couple of pay-per-views. Not ones that you were, going to likely go out and get, but again, wow, you almost have a hat trick for this, but third time talking about Dominion. Dominion 2025, or as I have it, 20,225. 4 very important matches. So, Boltin Oleg and Konosuke Tatesuka had 2 matches already. This was their 3rd match. And in this one, Konosuke dropped the Never Openweight Championship, which he's had for quite some time. One thing that was also announced is you're not going to be seeing him most of the summer in AEW because he is going to be in the G1 Climax. Which, okay, fine, but he's not going to win. They're not giving it to him.
Hey, you never know. I mean, it's got to be better than what would be doing in AEW anyway.
I would love it if they did, but he'd have to leave AEW to win this thing.
Sure. Hopefully.
But they did let Jon Moxley hold the world title, so let's not...
that's a different story. He's the golden boy. We'll get there in a second.
Evil, which this is not the result I thought it was going to be. Evil defeated David Finlay in the dog collar match. And it's because they were the ones that, and you brought this up, I believe it was the week I was gone or whatever, how there was the split of the Bullet Club War Dogs and the Bullet Club House of Torture, and they kind of split them up. This was their feuding match where Bad Luck Fale even came in at some point and turned. I'm like, wow, he's still there. No shit.
I know. That's what I was just thinking.
Gabe Kidd won the Global Championship from Yota Tsuji, which, man, I like it if Tsuji is the one that could actually maybe win the climax and go on, because like I said, he's good. I like him. Big size guy, can move fast, crowd loves him. But there was one thing I sent you right before we hit record, and Yota was hanging head first into the ring where he is on the top rope and he's on his waist. So 50-50 on the side of the ropes.
Right.
And it's one of those things where someone obviously is going to hit his head and he's going to bounce off in the air and go down. Gabe Kidd went to go do the jump. All he had to do, and it wasn't even like he did a full flip, he only just jumped forward like a
senton.
A full yes, not a swanton, a senton.
Yes.
And he just missed him completely. And Yoda's like, I'll fall off now, and he just flipped himself over. And the headline on the video said, what the fuck happened to New Japan? And I'm like, dude, right?
AEW happened.
Yeah, okay. Touche. And in the main event, Hiroki Goto retained the IWGP title against Shingo Takagi. And then Goto called out Zack Sabre Jr. They're going to run that back one more time. Not really caring. But also, the Triple Mania Regia. We'll give you that, whatever. The Son of the Viking was heavily fucking booed, like hard, as he was winning the match against Albert Patron. That's his name now.
Al.
So, Al Patron, he was more over than the Viking for some reason, who's the champion. And I don't know if it's like, I don't know what the crowd is upset with. Like, is it because he's not a heel? Is it because he is doing work with WWE all of a sudden?
Maybe where they were is considered the Toronto of Mexico. I have no idea.
It was Monterey.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, I don't know.
It
Seems weird. Maybe the first thing that when I saw this in the notes, the first thing I thought of without knowing anything about it was what you just said. Maybe it's because he's kind of like the Vikingo is kind of the face of AAA for WWE, even though that's
and
really
if you're
Mr.
leaving the
Iguana
company
now.
to basically go somewhere else,
Right.
because he's going to be heavily on Raw, I can already see it. Then yeah, you're leaving the company, so boo, fuck you for leaving us, because it's that pride or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But the match was said to be extremely messy too, and from what I've seen, they had like a bunch of run-ins. It was a dog shit match. They schmozzed the hell out of the ending, if you will. Los Garzas won the tag titles. Los Garzas from WWE won the tag titles in a fatal four-way. They actually had the Nemeth brothers, so it had Nick Nemeth and his brother. But my favorite part, and I thought this was really great, was a wrestler was there, and he changed his theme music. De su nombre e prisia, creo anjo hendre. Not bad, right? Worked on that
I
several
mean,
times
you
before I
got
talked
some
to
of the words right.
No, I don't care if I got it right at all. That was close enough. You know what I don't get? You have a team called...
We don't even remember anymore. Street
I
Profits?
know, we fucked with it so much that I can't do it anymore. I actually wrote it down the right way for this, but the Street Profits in WWE.
Right.
And we're saying not just like... And I mean this straight up, right? We're not being wrestle boats here. It has nothing to do with the men themselves. The gimmicks are, let's drink, dance, and we're a tag team, right? One has like doing the shots, the other one, you want smoke or whatever it is. But so you have Street Profits, and then you got Private Party. We have often called them the Street Party and the Private Profits, and we fucked it all up. That's why it was hard to remember this. But apparently WWE is interested in bringing over Private Party because they're in their final months of their contracts, and so that would be Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn.
Mark Quinn. Yep.
Mark Quinn. Okay. Put him in NXT at least to begin with,
And change the gimmick.
Change the gimmick, but unless you completely finally split up the Street Profits.
That one.
We fucked this up so bad.
I don't, hey man, props for doing the research and putting it in there. Do we really care if they show up?
No,
I don't.
No, but I screenshotted it when I was putting my notes together, and I go, why them? I'm like, can we bring back FTR, or are they just too much of the dick sucker of Tony now?
Oh God, I think they are. They have. It seems like they've taken corporate, men.
Did I send you the video of what FTR did?
That video was old.
No, it was at that last pay-per-view where it was Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Dax is going to clothesline. They're going to supposedly double clothesline from each side. Nigel McGuinness is going to get it from Cash and Dax from both sides. And Nigel didn't move, and Dax actually pushes Nigel with his left hand and then just hits his partner.
Yeah.
AEW, folks.
We're the best tag team in the world. Looks like a fucking rookie.
Oh my God, it's sad that they're not the best tag team in the world, and they used to be.
Certainly not.
I don't even know who to call the best tag team in the world anymore. I'll still give it to the Usos, because that's probably where Jay's headed.
Back to the Usos.
He's going to go back
hilarious.
to the tag. This is hilarious too, because it's time for TK's quick sniffs of the week. AEW is being sued by one of their own cameramen after Dick the Boozer had went off script during the match against Kenny Omega, the cage match from 2023, the one where Kenny does the running knee and the cage breaks and they both went down and out. Well, Moxley went off script and pushed a cameraman down. This guy has shoulder issues, neck issues. He's got a bunch of issues going on right now. And, yep, you can go in 1 second. I see the hand up. Thank you for not interrupting. Good for you. I got to learn to do that. And he's accusing AEW of negligence. That I fucking believe. Because remember when Punk was like, I was sitting around, nobody's telling me what rehab I need to go to or this or that. They just left me on my own. I 100% believe that. But then I see that you have something here that Bitchishay chimed in about this, but then deleted his tweet. So you had your hand raised, sir. Please, I'll let you go first.
Well, I'll give some more insights into the specifics of this guy's role, the injuries, the aspects of the lawsuit and stuff like that. But somebody, and this doesn't look like it's a dirt sheet or any famous person on Twitter, somebody just, tweeted a clip of the video where it happened and, put some of the stuff in there, the news in there. Bitchishay retweets it and says, "We live in a world of pussies."
Wow.
And then, like a pussy, deletes his tweet. You a bitch. You a bitch. Yeah, right? Exactly. That's why I put it in the notes like that. You fucking loser. Shut up. Stay in your lane, bitch. Your wife's more famous than you. Her fucking ass is more famous than you. Hate that guy. See Spaceballs 2's coming out?
I did, and okay, we had a couple of days where a lot of people were dying, right? You had Brian Wilson,
R.I.P.
Sly Stone,
R.I.P.
Yep, and then I see a picture of Rick Moranis, and someone says, "Please say it isn't so," and I go, "No, man, don't tell me Moranis died." And I see, wait, no, he's coming back for Spaceballs 2, and it's been 30 years since this dude has done any movie or TV. And I'm like, yes,
yeah.
I thought it was going to be him.
Absolutely. No, it's great that he's coming. Tight. All right, let's get back to this stupid story here. All right, so let's see. The guy's name is Christopher Dispenza. All right, he works for Broadcast Service Group. They provide production crew members for AEW shows. All right, he says severe neck and shoulder injuries just from the shove. And if you watch it, if you got hurt like that, you're fucking glass. You're worse than fucking Bobby Fish. You like that?
That was a good one.
Thanks. Dispenza claimed he required cervical fusion surgery, shoulder surgery, and other treatment. Let's see here. Lawsuit also claims Moxley exhibited gross negligence, while AEW have been accused of gross negligence due to allegedly not providing measures to protect production staff and for hiring and training John Moxley.
Training?
This is word? Exactly, right? And this is a hat tip to a Cultaholic. That's where I'm getting this information here. It says it further claimed that Dispenza told ringside doctor Michael Sampson, who we know, and a member of AEW's athletic training staff about the injury. Dispenza's legal representation told the Takedown on SI, no, that's SportsCenter, that he was eventually told he would not be treated any longer by AEW. There's more, but
here's my thing. I just got to say, if you're going to shove any cameraman, A, put him in the know, obviously.
Yeah.
But B, maybe have it be a worker? It's an idea.
Yeah. Might be helpful.
I mean, you're saying if you fall like that, you're made of glass. If he actually had
if he had the camera, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. The camera.
Not only that, but I'm saying if he actually had the surgery done, then a doctor deemed it. He wasn't just going to be like, yeah, let's just fucking give you a do-up and see how it looks in there.
Yeah, but it could have been, that surgery could have been due to him shoving his head up his wife's ass. We don't know what his neck injury came from that prompted the surgery. It might have been from the shove. It might not have been.
He gets up, he's like, what do I do, honey? His head's all cocked aside. She's like, I don't know, blame it on Tony Khan somehow. So there's more to this, you said, right? Unfortunately.
I think that's basically, those are the high points. I thought there was more in there. But yeah, I wanted to bring up the Bitchishay thing because he's a fucking clown.
That is a funny thing to be like, live in a world of pussies and then delete like a pussy. That's him.
Bitch. It is him. Damn straight.
Tonight on AEW, it's Grand Slam Mexico. It's just they just have names for all the episodes now.
Yep.
And it's a 10-man tag. It is legitimately the same 5 versus 5 it was at Anarchy in the Arena, but now they're going to do it in Mexico. Olale!
Yeah. Viva La Raza.
And the new merged title, obviously we brought it up that, that they're going to be merging the titles between Okada and Omega. They're set to meet at All In, and they said they're going to call this title the Unified title. So I'm going to start calling it the merged title because that's what they just did. They just merged it and didn't have a name. They're like, how about we use Unified? It's funny because I've been seeing that they're going to put this on the same level as their World Championship.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
And the funniest part is if you look at both the side plates, one is Omega delivering the One Wing Angel, and the other one is Okada delivering the Rainmaker. So this title is just going to go back and forth between them?
Yeah, probably. They probably both got their own copy of the title that they can display in their houses or wear while they're streaming. Yeah, who gives a shit? The only thing that I thought was, and I know you got on the notes for results of the week, but fucking Okada dropped an elbow from the apron, like not even to the floor, to like where Omega was on a stretcher, and the dude spit up blood like he was in an Alien movie.
Dude, he elbowed directly into the diverticulitis.
Yeah, fucking brought it to hell and back apparently.
I know, and it's funny because I'm looking at the logo right now because it's killing me. Like, and it was like a second after he got hit. I'm like, would you have 8 blood capsules in your mouth that you just bit at the same time?
It was like Charlie when he was in the limo.
I've been poisoned by my consumptions.
It was so bad. Omega's selling was terrible.
Trying time.
Yeah. How about we drop my friend off and you and I go back to a hotel room? I think that's all of it.
Oh my God, it's horrible. But yeah, running through things that happened, that is what happened on Dynamite. And the other thing is, can we just have? And I'm going to steal the quote because someone wrote it this way too, on the video or TikTok, whatever you fucking kids call it. And it's like, can AEW have one women's feud that is not sexually based or like homophobically sexually based or whatever? And it was this time Sasha Monet sniffing up Tony Storm, and
weird.
I'm like, it's just, can you guys just wrestle and maybe be like, this is for the title, not because I want to fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, unless Tony Storm just straight up sits on Monet's face during the match, and if you're gonna do it, commit. Just make it a softcore porn like we were watching Cinemax back in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about.
I think I may have just saw the vagina. I may. I've seen the boobs. Move on. So also last week, Mariah May is officially Blake Monroe,
which coincidentally is a porn star name.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would know. So
I would.
And also that her gimmick is kind of looking like Tony Storm's already. In some ways, but I think it's already kind of what she was doing already in AEW, which was, I thought, just stealing from her. That was a part of the feud, but apparently it's just kind of her gimmick.
No, so I didn't see the full vignette or package or whatever they did, like intro video, but apparently it is a mimic of somebody else's shit, not even Tony Storm. Sabrina Carpenter or some shit like that. I don't even know who the fuck that is. That's how old I am. But apparently she either had a music video or something, and that's what Mariah May's vignette was. Like it's frame for frame almost. I'll show it up to you. But did you hear what she wants to do? Well, the thing is, whoever she parodied that video from is selling bathwater. Like this. Okay, so this chick that she stole her vignette from or copied, whatever you want to say, parodied. The person she parodied is so famous and apparently such like a hot chick that she is starting to bottle her bathwater and sell it to Marks, and she's joking like that she wants to do that, and apparently she already has a soap out. Yeah, dude, it's a whole clusterfuck.
I'd piss in that tub right before I decided to bottle everything up and be like, "Here, you sick fuck."
It's better than Shitsy Blackheart, I guess.
Actually, I saw that she wrote a thing. She goes, "Huh? Maybe I should go to AEW. I see the girls like to kiss each other there." Oh, she's gonna show up in the middle of that match.
As long as she shits in Monet's mouth. That'd be fine.
So on SmackDown on Friday night, John Cena was face-to-face with Punk. He was face-to-face with everybody out there.
Yeah, pretty much all the faces.
Yeah, but Ron Killings attacks him. And it's funny because the Monday that we didn't get to talk about, Truth's gone. Ron Killings is here, cuts his hair off. And it's funny how very easily that all cut, by the way. Go ahead. Not
really. It's just 3 braids, so he knew to get right down. He had a pair of big sharp scissors, so, he got right to the bottom of it. But I was listening to Cornette talk about it, and it was great because, I definitely thought about it this way, but Cornette just put it into words, in a way I hadn't. This motherfucker shows up. Obviously, the fans made this push, you know what I mean, and WWE recognized it. He gave Truth props for, they let him go, and they obviously started calling him right away, and he didn't answer the phone until Nick Khan called. Because he's like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, you want me back, huh? Let Nick Khan call first, then I'll answer the phone. So, he took care of that. But he goes, the fans were so amped. He's like, Cornette said this is the best thing I've seen from either company in months. Just that promo, right? And he said, you got to think about the fact that this motherfucker cut off 3 braids of hair off his head and got holy shit chance. It's
true.
Insane. Absolutely
insane. Funny. I saw a lot of people just like jaws dropped, hands over mouth. I was like, everybody really, they're not like, sometimes people overreact so they could try to get on TV.
Mm-hmm.
No, It was in mass amounts that everybody was like, what the fuck? It kind of almost had a little bit of the vibe of Lesnar beating Taker. You know what I mean? Where everybody's like, wait, no, that was real?
Yeah, right.
It was a good promo.
Baby, what'd you do to your hair?
It's out of rest. Anyway, I really want them to do something with it, though. Don't just have this for a month and then he's down in the mid-card again and just being Ron Killings. I'd fucking push him to the moon right now if you can.
Yeah.
If you brought
100%.
him back, I mean, to be honest with you, Shotzi said in 2 days she made more than she would have in a week on the Indies. Right? I don't know what Truth's contract was at, but he could have made millions going around to anywhere he wanted to, and people would have fucking paid to see him. So I'm hoping when he got with Nick Khan on the phone, he was like, but it's either a title run or money, something good has to come out of this. I'm hoping for him.
Yeah.
And, with Monday on Raw, money talks. Remember when Punk said to The Miz,
suck a blood-covered money dick
in Saudi, you fucking dork. You fucking dork is the best ending to that whole thing. But anyway, he's going to Saudi Arabia to face John Cena for the title. I just wish, and he's under WWE umbrella, so he can't, but I really wish Miz could just put a tweet out, hey, Punk, go suck a blood-covered dick while you're out there.
I hope so. Sounds like he's on the outs anyway.
And obviously, we talked about Gunther winning his world title back. But the funniest part of Raw is Nikki Bella makes her comeback. And I can't wait to face the great likes of Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vacay, or whatever the fuck she did. And she even stopped and was like, anyway, and moved on. And I've seen interviews already about her talking about it. She doesn't deny it. She's like, no, I was just trying to get everybody's name. And when I asked Stephanie to say it, because with her accent, she went to say it back to her, and Stephanie goes, yeah, that's right. But she didn't know if she had it right, and it's because we all say Stephanie Vacure. But I'm sure Stephanie was like, right. I don't even know how to fuck say it, dude.
It's Vacare. Yeah. It's Vacare.
Vacure.
Vacare.
Okay. Vacare.
Takeshita.
Is it? I could do Konosuke fine, right? It's nope. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Hey, this part's with you here. Apparently, we got fact checked
by me.
Oh, it's by you. Okay, I do see that. I thought it was going to be Buster doing his job.
Nope. So yeah, last week we did Great American Bash 2000 and the shittiest Nitro after that was ever put on the air. And, I kind of blew by just because it was a shit show of a match. But on Great American Bash, you had Shane Douglas versus The Wall. And it was a tables match, but it was 5 tables. And I had said, yeah, you got to put your opponent through 5 tables. Finish of the match was they were at the top of a ladder with 3 tables behind them, and Wall ended up going through all 3. I think it was that night or the next night after we recorded, I was just chilling out and watching YouTube, and there's the YouTube channel Wrestling with Regret, which we've referenced a million times, in Maccabia Mania, the world title in 2000 in WCW, just all the different shit that they do. And he had just released Great American Bash 2000. Apparently he's doing a lot of WCW stuff from 2000, so it was cool to see right after we had talked about it, somebody else doing it and being like, yep, I know that, yep, I know it, we already know that. So when I was watching it, and I had to look it up afterwards just to make sure, it wasn't you had to put your opponent through 5 tables. This is how bad WCW was at explaining stuff. It was a best of 5 tables match. You had to put your opponent through 3 tables.
At one time?
No, throughout. So it could have gone 1 for 1. And that's the thing. I don't even think they did that. I think they just did the 3 table spot and called it a day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, little correction there.
It's funny, though. We're not the only ones. And we started this. I'm going to say it right now. We started this with the actual Monday Night Wars. We started it when it was the early 96 era. Yeah, we're going to go back and fix what we need to. But there are so many things out there. Like, I see videos all the time for WCW especially, and it's like 25 years ago plus 3 days. And it's like something that we just mentioned or talk about. And I'm like, we were all doing this before you guys. You fucking bandwagon jumpers.
It's been a hell of a ride, man. We've seen a lot of shit. And you got to think about it, because the way we did it, where we started the day after WrestleMania when Shawn Michaels won the title. So that's where we're ending. We're going to end with WrestleMania and him winning the title. That's what we're going to end on, like when we actually come to a close. It's going to be crazy.
Well, we also have to, do one big thing, something I've been sitting on for several days.
Just bring it, bitch!
Oh my God!
So where I am up here in the old Richland area, this is pretty close to, within 30 minutes, of someone who has a camp up here with his family. And that's Mr. Wheezy. And he had messaged me, I think it was Thursday night or Friday night, and was like, hey, would you want to come out, check the place out, just, say hello, whatever. I'm like, yeah. He goes, even for a minute, whatever, if you want to stop out. So, and I already asked. I asked when I got there, because my wife was like, has ODM been here? And I go, I don't know. And yes, you have. I heard you guys even did the bachelor party up there for Whiskey Man.
Yep.
It's funny because I go, which one? Wasn't to be rude, I was just curious.
Failed marriages.
Hey, I'm in the same boat, okay? He and I have that in common. So, one. Anyway, so as soon as I get there, we have to use the GPS to get to this place. And I can't say the goddamn the name at this time. Now it's like Osceola or something like that, but I couldn't. The whole time on the way there, I was like, assholey. I just couldn't fucking get it. But I was also like, Osceola, and I was like saying everything I really could. But as soon as I get there, man, he's got a big fucking sign. Shitter's full. I was like, yes. And it's on the door. Like, it's perfect. So I got to go up there, and as soon as I get out, both he's walking up, and so is Mrs. Wheezy. And she is wearing her Buffalo Sabres Yeet shirt. And she goes, heard you were coming, I thought I'd wear this one for you. I was like, that's awesome. As I was wearing my CM Punk tank top, whatever, anyway. We all had a Mark shirt on somewhere.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, and I didn't know this, huge fucking shout out, huge, to Mrs. Wheezy. That's right, you're listening. And she's a big listener of our show. She found out certain things through this show. I'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
First, I had said to them, because, you and I know a little personal thing, and, like, with what's been going on in my life recently. Yeah. We've made jokes and mentions, you know what I mean? And I had said to both of them, I go, well, as you know, because of, what happened with me recently, And they're like, oh, yeah, I did hear something about that. And I go, well, you texted me about it, Wheezy. I go, that night. Because I texted you Friday when things went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at like 9 o'clock, he sends me 10 thumbs up in a row. And I like not in a row, like as in one long row. And I was like, Joe must have told him. And I go, okay, my man. I was blinded as fuck, right? So I hearted it. And now the Wheezies and the Fantasias are fucking dying because I go, oh my God, because he goes, no, man, I heard how much you hated thumbs up, so I was just sending you all those. And I go, oh my God, I took that as another fucking thing. I thought it was like a love thing, and I was like, oh my man, thank you so much. I needed that. And I was like, oh my God. And I go, between now you and Lil Jon, oh my God, and everybody's doing them to me now. You're all a bunch of dicks. And the conversation with Lil Jon that we had, I said to you, I go shove that up your wife's ass, and you said, I intend to. And Lil Jon goes, I already did this morning, not my first butt thumbing. And I go, what the fuck, man? Like,
yeah, that went south quick, pun intended.
Real fucking. Which is funny because Lil Jon goes, bro, it sounded like you were making popcorn in the interview last week. And I go,
it was loud
just
as
the
fuck.
rain, man. It was bad. When I was editing it, I go, I can't do anything about it.
Here comes the rain again.
Yeah, it's there. So, so we're downstairs at their bar, or in the house, checking out the bar and stuff like that. And we're just talking. And I go, it's so funny how, because I brought up the thing about how years ago you made fun of me and ODM for watching wrestling, and you're saying go play with our dolls. I go, and here you are watching. She goes, yeah, I was asleep Monday night, and he came in and goes, babe, you're not going to be happy about this. She goes, what? What's wrong? She thought something might have been wrong with, I don't know, they're fucking kids. And he goes, Oos lost the title, Gunther won it. And she's like, it was about wrestling? And I was like, yes. I go, we have fucking changed you. Because I did that the night the Miz won the title on Raw the first time. I was like, babe, you want to get up and see something? It's on DVR. And we all took a good laugh at Mr. Prediction Whiskey Man, just talking about his predictions and shit, and like the phone scrolling, if you will, from was it WrestleMania?
Night
so
2.
we were all so we were just shooting the shit about that, and then we also talked about having future plans, getting the ODMs, the professors, and the Wheezies all together as one big get together, and I said, well, that's got to happen. So then I go, so man, that time that you and Joe got into that fight, I see you laughing, and I knew you knew where I was going for this. So did he prep you and tell you anything about this?
He told me. So he's been teasing me for like what I think the week after that had happened and I brought it to the table is when you were away and I did the show solo. And he said, and Weezy said, hey man, if you want me to record with you, I've got like insight into that. And he kept telling me that, but he never told me what it was. Last night he told me.
He filled you in on
He filled me in, which is hilarious because I had no idea. I was like, I didn't think I went that hard, but okay, sure.
So he couldn't remember the beginning as to who started what. And he goes, I kind of want to say that ODM did it. No,
listen, the easiest way that I can explain
started this.
I went to say goodbye. I was leaving. I was on my way out the door, and he slugged me in the gut.
Okay.
He didn't go full force. He was fucking with me. I mean, that's not uncommon. But it just
you did what in return?
Slugged him back.
Okay, so now Wheezy's part right here. He goes, dude. He goes, as soon as I swung his cooler bag at his head, he goes, and I realized it wasn't empty with empty cans. He goes, I was like, fuck. Like, he goes, I just knew. And so then they were like, and Mrs. Wheezy's here, like we're all standing around talking about this, and I go, he goes, and I just saw the look in his eye. I go, which is funny because I didn't know he has that look. He's the biggest fucking pacifist I know. If I said, hey, we're about to get in a fight in the bar, he's like, I'm going to go have a bogey. I'll be outside.
Yep.
I'm like, that's you, and that's fine. Fucking fine. But
Oh, it's down there.
So for you to have that look, but he said when you got behind him and choked him, he goes, it was a point where I couldn't talk. It was actual, like, couldn't talk. And he goes, and I said to myself and was trying to say to him, you better fucking pull the trigger and knock me fully out right here. Choke me the fuck out. He goes, because I was going to take him down. He was saying about putting his hand behind your head.
I saw his arm drop, yeah. I saw it.
And that's when Whiskey Man jumped in the middle. And he goes, and the funny thing is I've done that to Whiskey Man before. He goes, except this. He goes, then I took his hoodie and wrapped it over his face so he couldn't see. I go, that's a hockey guy.
To me?
No.
I was going to say, I don't remember that part of the story.
No.
Okay.
No, your guys' shit broke up. But it was just funny, like, hearing his version of it. And then, this was the part that made me laugh, and how I knew that she listens to the show. She goes, yeah, I didn't find out about it until I was listening to the show. And he came home, she goes, and I said, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you guys got in a real fucking fight over it. And she only from hearing the show. So that's why I was like, yo, shout out to Mrs. Weezy. But the dude had a sore throat for a couple of days and couldn't figure out why. He thought he was getting sick, and he's like, yeah, Joe tried to kill me.
That's what he told me yesterday. I'm like, damn, I didn't think I cinched up that much, but apparently I did.
Yo, the beer can bag to the head fucking made you mad.
It wasn't beer cans in there. It was my dart case.
Okay. Whatever
But
was
still,
in there and hit you in the head made
that.
you turn red, and I think it's awesome. I didn't know you had that in you.
Hulk smash.
Oh my god, it was just funny. All of us just talking about that. I thought it was hysterical. So that was pretty much the get together. We're all because we're moving about an hour from here for a 3-month stint for a job that she's going to be taking. We all agreed we're all going to get back up to this camp. And I was like, it'd be cool if we get set up like a pay-per-view or something. He's like, no internet up here. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll just sit around talking, but we'll just drink.
Well, like I said, if you can get a local copy of Bash, Bash, we can do that. But that means we got to do it soon, so we'll be in contact about that soon. We'll figure that out. I hear Carthage has a sub shop and a bank.
Which is hysterical because I was like, all right, maybe I'll find a part-time job while I'm, just up there to, out of boredom or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, they got a sub shop and a bank. And I go, I'm out.
Too bad it wasn't a bowling alley.
Oh, come on, man. I thrived really well except for telling that girl.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was a callback, man. That's all. It's all good.
All right. Now, this is funny because on Saturday night, after I got back from Wheezy's, you send me a message, and you're like, I want you to listen to this or whatever. And then I wrote something back, and you go, can I call you? And I go, yeah, sure, fine. And I go, as long as you understand, I'm playing WWE 2K, and I'm having bourbon, so go ahead. So when he called, it was funny because we both were just cracking up, and we both were like, why aren't we recording right now?
I know, right? Yeah, should have been recording.
But you did bring something to the table for me that night, and we're about to rank something.
Yeah. So I think it was that night, was it? Shit, I don't remember when it was. There was a night during the week, Miss ODM and I, we went out, we had fun together, and we came home, and I was just in the garage just tying one on and bumping some music, and she came out. We just shot the shit for a while. It was nice. It didn't end up in an argument for once. That was cool. But it was a great night. And we've always talked about the song Nothing Compares to You. It's not like officially one of our songs, but it's a song we both like. And we listen to all the different versions. We listen to Prince. We obviously listen to Sinead O'Connor, and then we listen to Chris Cornell. But she wanted me to hear a version that I hadn't heard, and that was by Chris Stapleton. I'm guessing most of the people listening to this know who Chris Stapleton is. As you know, Professor, I am not a huge modern country fan at all. As a matter of fact, I pretty much despise it.
Ditto.
But Mrs. ODM has played me some, Wheezy too, some Chris Stapleton songs, and he's got a great voice. He got some funk on it, and not bad. I'm not going to say I'm going to go listen to the dude on purpose most of the time, but if one of his songs comes on, I'm like, okay, I can jam with this dude, right?
Out of everybody that is out there nowadays, you got your Jelly Roll, MGK, whatever, all those fucking people. I would not ever want to listen to them. Stapleton is the one when it comes to that somewhat country where I'm like, God, but you got a rock sound to you that I can kind of get on board with. And he did the national anthem like 2 years ago at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
The 49ers Chiefs game.
Okay.
And I was like, holy shit, that's how you do it. It wasn't a million runs of it was just him rocking it the fuck out and played it well. So I do like him. So when you did send me this version of him, I was like, okay, I know what I'm about to get into when it came to this, but I wanted to hear his actual version.
Right. So, and I sent it to you because I know you've heard the other 3 versions. And I was like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's just talk it through real quick. Let's just give him a quick ranking. I mean, I'll throw mine out there. I'm guessing ours are going to be pretty similar. Stapleton's at number 4, and it's not because it's a bad version. It's just there are things I like about the other ones more. The guy who wrote the song, Prince, he's number 3. Sinead's number 2, and Chris Cornell's number 1. Now, yeah, I'm a big Chris Cornell mark. We've gone over that before, but I don't care. His version's just fucking stunning. So
I'm 100% in the exact same ranking as you.
I kind of figured.
When I decided to learn to play Nothing Compares to You, I never heard it until Cornell died. And I heard his version. I was like, why the fuck have I not been playing this song his way? I'm like, oh my God. And I started making it a part of my repertoire because people fucking love it. My favorite part is that he doesn't do this one part like Sinead does, but people always sing it. I went to the doctor, guess what he told me? Everybody always does the, guess what he told me?
Right.
I fucking love it.
There's another thing, though, that Cornell did. Cornell changed a lyric, and I thought that Stapleton fucked it up, but he didn't because Sinead does it the same way. Well, Stapleton does it the way Sinead does it. Cornell does it. What the...
All the flowers.
Oh, God. I think I can put my arms around any guy I choose, but it just reminds me of you. There's a lyric that Cornell modifies. You know, he does some, like, from him to her or from her to him, right, because he's a male singing it, and Sinead was a woman, right? So he changes some. But there's one lyric, I forget what it is, but he changes it. But, yeah, I don't know where I was going with this.
I know, now I'm over here running through the lyrics in my head.
Yeah, because I heard Stapleton do it, and I was like, he fucked that up. He didn't get it right. And then we listened to the Sinead version, and I'm like, oh, I guess Cornell changed it then. And it wasn't a big thing, but it's like it's just, because he's got that, he's got a good rhythm to it. So, but Mrs. ODM brought up a really good point. This is what I was going to say. The Stapleton's version is nice because he makes it his own. He takes the song and he makes it fit his style,
which is what Cornell did. I agree to that.
I think Cornell did more of a he did almost a straight up cover of Sinead O'Connor's and made it his. I know that it sounds like I'm saying the same thing. I think Cornell stayed truer to the original, and Stapleton made it more of his own. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, when I say he made it more of his own as well, for Cornell, for me, like, listen to his version of Billie Jean. Nowhere near the original Billie Jean, but it sounds to me like him doing Nothing Compares to You. It's the same kind of thing where he's just, it's all his voice and not a whole lot of the guitar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stapleton had both, and it just sounded like Stapleton version to me. Like I said, I knew I was getting into. He hit the right sounds, but it still was not better than Prince. But Sinead O'Connor's the OG to me. But then, like we said, best version I give to Cornell.
100%.
All right, we'll see if we agree on other things later when we get to that top topic. But first, we got to take ourselves into the DeLorean back 25 years ago. Let's go 88.
Monday Night Wars! We now know that Goldberg controls Scott Hall's contract. To save Scott's WCW career, you must face Goldberg July 9 at Bash at the Beach.
How ironic, July 9th is my birthday, and I got a place down at Daytona Beach. You know, Goldberg's been watching the movie Terminator too long, too many times. He's got to remember one thing. I'm the only guy that's ever beaten him. Scott Hall's career on the line, I got no problem beating his ass. The thing is this. It's in Daytona. Scott's 40 minutes away. We're going to have a big party on my birthday, guaranteed.
Big Papa Pump, tonight your opportunity for the WCW World's Heavyweight title. Standing in your way, the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett.
In his mind, he's the chosen one. I'm the one with the genetic freak. I'm the one with large arms. Who's to say I'm not the chosen one? Jeff Jarrett can kiss my ass. Yeah!
So again, Kane must win this matchup, as The Undertaker won his match earlier in the handicap match. Wow! In order for the WWF title will be on the line. Well, The Undertaker certainly did his job earlier, defeating the combination of the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan. When the Boss Man walked away from Bull, who got a toe slam for his tumble.
All right, The Undertaker's been victorious. Now let's get it straight. Kane has got to be victorious, and then The Rock has got to be victorious.
In order for the WWF title to be on the line this Sunday at the King of the Ring in that six-man tag main event, a stipulation that Mr. McMahon did in the act of fairness. I think Mr. McMahon was reacting to what his lovely wife Linda had to say in that fax.
It's the Monday Night Wars, June 19th, 2000. You got Nitro, you got Raw. I'm going to majorly skip in advance to ask you, did you notice that anybody had a new entrance theme this week?
No. Not that I can recall.
Okay, when we get there, we get there.
All right. Very good. So let's get there. This week we're doing June 19th, 2000. Raw's in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the go-home show for King of the Ring. And tonight we get 6 King of the Ring Sweet 16 matchups. This is your kind of Raw.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, because I'd like to see the next matchups. But they actually do it at the pay-per-view. I think you get the full 8-man bracket.
They do.
Which,
yes.
That's my favorite.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we open up with one of those matches. It's Kurt Angle versus Bubba Ray. Angle cuts a promo on the way to the ring, says, fans here in Nashville are the most genuine rednecks, and my opponent could be the biggest redneck of all time. And Lawler says anybody with 2 first names is a fucking redneck. This is, I didn't take too many notes on this. Kurt Angle's so good. Right out of the gate, he was so fucking good. His delivery was flawless, and even when he flubbed every once in a while, like he did tonight, he just kept going with it. It was great, and they immediately hated him. It was just natural as it gets. Bubba's ribs are injured from an attack from the faction on SmackDown, and Angle wins with an Angle slam off of an Irish whip. Factions in the locker room cheering. Vince wishes X-Pac good luck against his match against Benoit tonight. Vince leaves, and the Stooges come up to him, and they have a fax from Linda for him. So, Faction comes to the ring, and got a sign sighting. Hey, Steph, 2 words, hardcore porn.
1 word, yes.
2 words, this slide. Meanwhile, so Triple H he says it's good to be surrounded by people that you can count on. Meanwhile, Vince is in the background, and to me, I don't know what it is about it. It's not that it was meant to be comedic, but to me, there is a comedic element to it. You got this whole fucking group in the ring, right? Fills up half the ring. Triple H is pacing, doing his promo, putting themselves over. Everybody else is cheering him on in the ring, and you just have Vince in the back, putting on his glasses, reading the facts from Linda. I don't know why I enjoy that so much, just that, because, he's not front and center. You got to spy him in the back just sitting there reading this fucking thing like, what the fuck is this? Turning the page and shit. I don't know what it was about. I don't know. Triple H says, well, at least people I thought I could count on, and he confronts the Stooges about the photo of Kane they didn't get. And he says, we'll deal with that later. Shane gets the mic. We get Shane's a pussy chance. And then Vince goes over to the corner where the Stooges are. They're reviewing the facts. Shane shows some video from SmackDown. Taker was sent to jail. The faction beat down Kane and Rock. And everybody's in the ring is hugging except for Vince, and he grabs the mic. He says, for the record, I love my wife Linda, except for when I'm shitting on other women's heads. In the fact, she questions the size of the faction's testicles. And Linda proposes that at King of the Ring, the 6-man tag not be for the number 1 contendership, but it is for the world title. And Vince says, and Linda is questioning if my grapefruits have shriveled to the size of raisins. So he officially, lays out that, if one of the faces win, they win the title. Triple H starts freaking out. But tonight, Kane, Taker, and Rock have to earn that stipulation. They all have to win their matches tonight. It's going to be the Hardys against Kane. Bull Buchanan and Vince says Bull and Bradshaw against Taker. And then he goes, then as Bull and Bossman face Taker later, he fucked up. He said Bull and Bradshaw. So it's
I was like, why are they together?
Yeah, exactly. So it's Bull and Bossman versus Taker and TNA versus The Rock to make sure everything's fair. Because Attitude Era, we have to have 1 million handicap matches. And he says no interference from anyone in the faction or from the locker room. And Triple H is still freaking out. They go to break. They come back. Triple H is running down Vince some more. And we get that match between X-Pac and Benoit. It's another King of the Ring Sweet 16 match. Tori takes a bump to the floor from X-Pac as Benoit dodges last minute. Dudley's come in. Benoit wins with the crippler. Yeah, it's a schmoz. At the end, basically DX is in there, and Tori starts laying kicks into Bubba's injured ribs. And JR says, "That Jezebel!"
Old Jezebel.
You gotta love a classic. Chyna and Eddie are walking in the back. They're going to be facing each other in the King of the Ring tournament. Road Dogg and X-Pac go into Vince's locker room. They want the Dudleys at King of the Ring. And he says, fine, but we'll make it a handicap match. It's going to be you two and Tori versus the Dudleys. And it's going to be a tables match. But it's not just going to be a tables match. It's going to be a tables and dumpster match. And then Triple H walks in and he's like, yeah, great job, Vince. Basically what I was thinking. So you get Eddie versus Chyna, King of the Ring Sweet 16. Eddie gives her the roses anyway. Chyna wants a handshake, and Eddie grabs her hand and kisses it, so Chyna slaps him. All right, now we got a match. Chyna controls the match early, hits a power bomb, a press slam, and she stops short on a low blow. She had her arm cocked up. She was ready to, and she stops. And Eddie's on her knee, on his knee, please, please. And, she's like, all right, I'm not going to do it. And she grabs her hand, starts kissing it, rolls her up for a quick 3. God, this was fantastic. This was so fantastic. And Chyna basically just starts crying and walks away. Crying, quote unquote. And JR says, Mamacita is not happy. We see Edge and Christian backstage. Christian saying he won't be at Edge's match tonight because he's meeting the editor of Tiger Beat.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think they actually. I think they reference it in IT Crowd. I think it's like a teeny magazine.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. So we cut to Eddie, who's with Chyna in the locker room. Chyna's, again, in quote-unquote tears. Eddie has flowers. She doesn't want them. He has chocolates. I'm on a diet. And then he just has a puppy. And let me tell you fucking something. The entire, because the crowd can see this and you can hear their reactions. Mm-hmm. The entire fucking crowd all at once go, "Aww!" I think it's the first time at a wrestling show I've ever seen that.
You're right. Wow, man, did they dub that in?
I don't know, the way the inflection, the way that everybody's voice dropped and came back up.
Yeah, you're right. It actually did sound pretty real. You're right.
Yeah, it was crazy. And naturally, that does the trick. And Lawler's like, hey, look, puppies. It's not a joke either. He actually did it. It was funny.
Right.
You get Edge versus Jericho, King of the Ring Sweet 16. It is so funny to go back and see how over Jericho was back then compared to now.
I know.
It's so extreme. Jericho cuts a promo on Edge on the way to the ring, and he says... What does he say? He says, you are really good at beating it, aren't you, Tiger? Tiger beat. Get it. That's good. This was a solid match. Jericho wins with the walls. Next, you get Taker versus Bull Buchanan and Big Boss Man. And it's great because, again, we've discussed that your rips of these must have the Kid Rock music edited out. On Taker's way to the ring, they actually showed the Kid Rock album cover.
Can't play it.
But we can show you the picture. Boss Man and Bull Buchanan are still at odds, but they're teaming up just to take care of Taker. Rock and Kane are watching from the back. As Taker and Buchanan are fighting, Boss Man steps in with a nightstick, and Taker looks at him like, what the fuck? And Boss Man just goes, oh, my bad, and leaves. And Taker wins.
Where was Bradshaw?
Exactly. So they cut away to a vignette, and SmackDown was in Minnesota, so Ventura was there, and they asked him, who on the roster would you have as your running mate? And he goes, Chyna, without a doubt. And basically, he says nothing. He does the politician answer where he gives like no insight into why. And then at the end, he says, get that important female vote. It's like,
just give me your highest female person, and I'm just going to say her name.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, of course, naturally, at the end, he has to get a dig in at Vince McMahon. So that was hilarious. Next, you get Scotty 2 Hotty versus Rikishi. Stable mates facing each other in the King of the Ring tournament. Rikishi wins. Val Venus comes in post-match, beat down to Rikishi. Grandmaster Sexay makes the save. Taker meets up with Kane backstage, says, don't take it easy on the Hardys tonight. Don't screw this up. Matter of fact, why don't you just act like it's me in there and you won't have any problems? And he doesn't because Kane wins.
He's the one that had new music. It's a slightly different version.
Kane?
But it was a little more amped up version than just the dreary version that he's had from like 97.
Okay. I didn't even catch that. Good call. I'll have to pay attention now. Let's see. Yeah, Triple H is in the locker room still pissed, and he warns Vince if The Rock wins. And then he starts running down Vince to Stephanie, and Steph doesn't look too happy either. Hooray. Next, you get Crash versus Hardcore Holly, King of the Ring Sweet 16. And apparently on SmackDown, Samuel L. Jackson, who had just released Shaft, was in character at a club, and they did the hardcore title angle with the Stooges and Crash.
Man, could you imagine if he had won the title somehow? Samuel L. Jackson.
I wish.
They gave Arquette the world title over there. Hardcore's okay over here.
Yeah, for real, for real. Well,
I want the motherfucking hardcore title, motherfucker.
And it's great because Lawler and JR are doing their commentary, and Lawler goes, he's a bad and JR goes, watch your mouth.
Which wallet cheers? It's the one that says bad motherfucker.
That's my bad motherfucking wallet. During this match, the Stooges come to the ring, and they have Kyoto with them. Briscoe has a 2x4. Attacks Crash, which means it's a DQ, and Crash Holly wins and is advancing in the King of the Ring tournament. Hardcore takes it out on Patterson, and meanwhile, while Hardcore Holly is dealing with Pat Patterson, Briscoe pins Elroy and wins the Hardcore title back.
I love that they call him Elroy every now and then.
Yeah.
I do have to mention this because it just came up the other day, and I was like, there's no other way of really throwing this into the show, but it made me laugh. It's a B Savage like Hardcore Holly. When he was a tough enough
like
trainer,
a judge. Yeah.
But the judge thing?
Yeah.
Did you see this thing?
I don't think I've seen it, but I know he was fucking ruthless on that show.
So it's just like the part where everybody comes up and has to explain why they want to be a WWE superstar. And this girl started crying. She's like, 10 years ago, I was in a terrible accident. He goes, why are you crying now? Fucking love it, man. Savage dude. He was a dick. And good for him, I guess. I wasn't really as thrilled with what he did to Matt Cappotelli in Tough Enough 3, but, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But, I just love that. Why are you crying now? And it's true. It's like everybody on, those American Idol shows, they all start crying. I couldn't give birth 20 years ago, but now I have 4 kids. Then what the fuck is wrong?
Yeah. Hey, for the record, it's not like Hardcore gave Cappotelli, brain cancer, all right? It had nothing to do with it, so...
Wow.
Too soon?
Jesus. Well, God. Damn, I like Cappotelli too, man.
Hey, local boy, man. I know. It's a damn shame. I've had friends that happened to too as well. Not cool. Anyway, bring levity to it.
They got kicked in the head by Hardcore Holly as well?
Yes, and they had brain cancer at the same time. It's a little different, but, I'm going to move on. After Briscoe wins the Hardcore title back, they go to break. They cut back to the back, and it's the Stooges with Kyoto, and Patterson's just putting Briscoe over. But we got to celebrate. And he starts pouring champagne. He pours one. He takes a sip of it. He's like, oh, that's good. And he gives it to Briscoe. And Briscoe's like, you drank out of that. I don't want that. He's like, oh, just take the damn thing. So he pours Kyoto a glass, and they're all cheering. Patterson pours champagne over Briscoe's head to celebrate, and Briscoe's like, oh damn, you got it in my eyes, it stings. Patterson grabs a champagne bottle and just smashes it over Briscoe's head and wins the Hardcore title.
They're still amusing after a full year and a half of being on TV. I'm still laughing at these fucking guys.
Oh God, yeah, no, they're fantastic. The fucked up thing was I actually saw a segment somewhere on this where there were some extra lines cut out from this segment. It was Patterson telling Briscoe it's the same champagne he gave to the Ring Boys.
Next slide.
Triple H and Stephanie give TNA a pep talk, and Test is like, whatever, bitch, and Test and Triple H almost get into a little scrap. And then, our main event, it's TNA versus The Rock. This match was really nothing. It was just to get to the end for the story. Rock wins. The 6-man tag match at King of the Ring will be for the world title. Triple H is freaking out in the locker room, pissed at Vince, and Vince says, just wait until SmackDown. So we'll wait until SmackDown.
After these messages,
we'll be right back.
What'll it be, guys?
I'll have a scotch on the rocks.
I'll have a Samuel Adams. I'll have a Samuel Jackson.
You know something? I'll have a Samuel Jackson, too.
Me 3. 3 Samuel Jacksons coming right up.
Good motherfucking coach, motherfucker. Samuel Jackson, named painstakingly by me, Samuel L. Jackson. It'll get you drunk. You'll be fucking fat girls in no time. You might even fight a nigga or two. Bitch. How's it taste, motherfucker?
Can you stop yelling at me, please?
No, I can't stop yelling, because that's how I talk. You ain't never seen my movies? Juice, that was a good one. Deep Blue Sea, they ate me. A fucking shark ate me. Drink, bitch. Jurassic Park, Samuel Jackson. It's my beer. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. How's it taste, motherfucker? Huh?
Can you stop yelling at me?
No, I can't stop yelling at you. This is my acting style. You haven't seen my movies? Jackie Brown, Star Wars, the one where I say, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Then that too. I was in Juice with Tupac Shakur. Where you go? Juice, nigga.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
It's good motherfucking beer.
We used that one already.
It could be a non-sponsor twice.
It's that good. It's that good. So while WWE is emanating from a big city that's even gotten bigger since then, like Nashville, Tennessee, right? Huge city. Nitro's in Billings, Montana.
Beautiful place.
I'm sure you've actually been there, probably, I'm guessing.
Outside of it, yeah, not too far from it.
Yeah.
Beautiful mountains.
Not
a whole lot of people that, are in the town, so I can't imagine how many people went to this event.
Do they have a sub shop and a bank?
They had 2 sub shops.
Oh, sweet. So that's 3 places now you could work at. We get a recap of Kevin Nash tormenting Russo on Thunder. We get video of David kicking it to Miss Hancock, and Daphne's not happy. New Blood arrives in limos. Russo and Bischoff aren't there tonight. The Cat's defending him. He says Goldberg's on his way. R&B security come out and tell the Cat there's a problem in the ring. It's Horace sitting in the middle of a ring in a chair with a bat. Anyway, Horace starts putting over Hogan. You got to take care of family. Calls out Goldberg, and he wants a match with Goldberg tonight. So Cat comes to the ring. He says he blames Scott Steiner for putting Russo in the Steiner recliner. He said there's not going to be any outside interference tonight. Yeah, okay. He says, if you bring your happy ass out here, I'm going to send you home for 30 days. I'm going to fine you, and I'm going to have you working at my dojo scrubbing the mats. Says he has Scott Hall's contract. Wolfpack music hits. Nash and Steiner and one of the broads come out. Cat finally grants the match for Horace and Goldberg. Hooray. And Nash says, you're going to do what we want tonight, or we're going to make it a long night for you. All night long. Steiner says he's looking for Eric Bischoff. I mean, not the worst.
It was a good one. I like it.
So, since I can't find him, I want the Cat tonight. Kat says, I look too pretty to wrestle tonight, so I'll give you Steiner, I'll give you Jeff Jarrett tonight. Steiner says, that's not good enough. Kat says, all right, how about for a title shot? Steiner's like, all right. Nash says, we're not done. I want to face you tonight, Kat, for Scott Hall's contract. They close in on him. Kat says, all right, and powders through the crowd. This was, listen, I know Raw does very long opening segments. This did not need to be this long. In the what kind of colossal idiots do you take us for a moment of the night, Chuck Palumbo and Sean Stasiak storm the production truck. They want them to play a pre-tape of them arriving earlier to fool Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott. We immediately are shown that Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott are right outside of the production truck, fully aware of what's going on.
It's completely pulled the curtain back in so many ways, and then even ruined that segment, too.
So they get jumped. Yay. Jarrett and Mike Awesome run into Kat's office. Jarrett's pissed off about the title match he booked tonight. Kat says, here, gives Mike Awesome a red shirt. There's your special guest ref. You happy? Security comes in and says, Kat, the crowd's restless. They want a match. I mean, I would expect that on a wrestling show. Yes, they probably want to see some wrestling. And the Kat says, get the
too
three.
Much to ask for.
I know. Get the 3 Spice Girls. 3 count? And then we cut the 3 count in the ring.
Call them Spice Girls.
And we get 3 count versus the Young Dragons. Remember them? Hooray. Hudson says, do you know how many epic battles we've seen between these two? 1?
Tonight?
This was just high spots to pop the crowd, 3 count win. And then Lance fucking Storm debuts. At least we get something good out of it. I'm sure they're going to book them like shit, but...
Sure. They coming over freshly from ECW at this point.
Yep, absolutely. We see David looking for Daphne. We see Goldberg arriving to the arena. Horace cuts a promo with Mike Tenay. Next, it's Big Vito versus Johnny the Bull for the hardcore title, because apparently they broke up. Vito retains.
Aww.
Yeah. G.I. Bro gives a pep talk to MIA, and then has a match against Canyon. Canyon comes out to DDP's music, wearing a wig to look like Paige, has a copy of his book with his name on it. He's wearing DDP's shirt. This made me think about something. They did that dark side of the ring on Canyon. Mm-hmm. And there was a good story there, right? Just about, him having his secret and not feeling like he could tell anybody, and the mood swings and all that shit, right? And then, the injury, and then his career just bottoming out once he went to WWF. But he never really was much of a draw. He was never really that good.
Mid-card level, that's all you ever
Yeah, I mean, I liked him more when he was Mortis.
I miss Glacier.
Yeah.
Or at least the promos.
Coming soon, eventually. Booker wins, and then he takes off the army pants, and he's just wearing his old trunks under there. Yeah, well, whatever. David finds Daphne. She slaps him, walks off. Horace versus Goldberg. Big Papa Pump wants to interfere to go after Bill Goldberg. Nash is like, nah, man. Kat said no interference tonight. Steiner's like, when have we ever obeyed the rules? I'm like, at least this guy's talking sense here.
He watches the show.
Yeah, right? And Nash is like, no. We'll just stay back. And Goldberg squashes Horace, as you would expect. At least they got that right. And then you get the Kat versus Kevin Nash for Scott Hall's contract. Kat handcuffs the briefcase with the contract to Mark Madden. Nash squashes the Kat. Goes to unlock the briefcase. There's just pictures of the Kat in there. Goldberg gets on the Tron, says, I have your little girlfriend's contract. And at this moment I go, oh my God, is this what I think it is? And it sure as hell was, because Goldberg says, if you got the guts, come claim it at the bash. And then Goldberg eats the contract. Not a euphemism. He takes the first page, crumples it, and puts it in his mouth and chews with a smile on his face.
Doesn't Mac do that on It's Always Sunny?
I think so. Yes, he does. I think so, yes.
Got it. You can't do anything about it. Gone.
Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, come claim it at the bash. Claim what? You just ate the first page.
usually what the topic is about. Everything else is a lot of addendums and shit.
Exactly.
What's the main...
All right. Tanay's with Kevin Nash, cuts a promo on Goldberg. And he goes, Bash is in Daytona. Scott Hall's 40 minutes away, and it's going to be on my birthday. So, yeah, bring it. Steiner cuts a promo on Jeff Jarrett and says, Jeff Jarrett can kiss my ass. Next, you get Rey Mysterio with the Animals versus the Artist versus Chavo with MIA and a triple threat cruiserweight title match. Lieutenant Loco, a.k.a. Chavo, retains. We cut back to David and Daphne. David has black roses and is on one knee and apologizes. And like a dope, Daphne's just like, oh, okay, I love you. Basically copying the Eddie segment from Raw. And they're walking backstage, and David's telling Daphne, "Hey, why don't you go ahead, get in the car, go back to the hotel room, fire up the jacuzzi. I'll be back in a little bit." We see the car start to move, and then it stops immediately. David comes around the corner. Miss Hancock is there waiting for him, and David's like, "She's gone, she's gone." We see Daphne. She's at the monitor. She sees what's going on. She starts crying. Hooray! Next, you get Sean Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo versus Tank Abbott and Rick Steiner for the tag titles. Abbott ends up confronting a fan at ringside and chases him through the crowd. And it ends up being a 2-on-1, and Stasiak and Palumbo retain.
Probably just a work just to get him out of the match.
Yeah. Because Russo. Mm-hmm. Next, in a segment that has no context whatsoever, they explain everything after the fact. It appears to be the Kiss Demon, but not in gimmick, and with Asia, who is like biker version of Asia now. The non-demon tells Asia, we can't have a normal life because I never know when the demon's going to come out. And he gives her the demon gear and says, put it somewhere where I can't find it.
I can't go back to that lifestyle.
He's a loner, a rebel. Vampiro goes to the ring, cuts a promo on the demon. I said, I hear the demon's going away, so let's have a little party tonight. And he says, Dale the Demon Torborg and his fiancée Asia. So they come to the ring. And Vampiro says, no, cut the music. That's not the demon. That's Dale Torborg. The lights go out. When they come back up, Asia's gone. Then the lights go out again and come back up, and Vampiro's gone. And then on the Tron, we see Vampiro driving away in a hearse. Undertaker from 5 years ago. Next, you get Shane Douglas, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Chris Candido to the ring. They're serving notice that Candido and Bam Bam are setting their sights on the tag titles. Meanwhile, Chris Candido's in an arm sling. Buff and Chronic come to the ring, and they have a 6-man tag match with Chris Candido in a sling. Buff gets the pin. Main event, Scott Steiner versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title. Cat's on commentary. Awesome is the ref. Steiner recliner. Cat gets on the mic yelling at Awesome. Break the hold by any means necessary. That's an illegal hold. What? So Cat slides in a chair. Mike Awesome hits the chair shot to Steiner, but Jeff Jarrett only gets a 2 count. Steiner hits a lariat to Mike Awesome if Jeff Jarrett locks in the recliner to Mike Awesome. We get a guitar shot to Steiner's head, and Jarrett retains. Steiner cleans house post-match. Goldberg and hits a spear to Steiner. Nash comes out for the save, and all the heels powder. Good night, folks.
Stellar show, as always.
Outstanding.
I just can't wait to get to the bash. You did say I'm a loner, a rebel. I might as well mention, you had mentioned to me on the show about the Pee-wee doc. Mm-hmm. And I messaged you, I go, come on, man, after all that, and I finished it, I go, after all said and done, you can't say one nice thing about David Arquette after watching that. You're like, I fucking knew you were going to say something about Arquette.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were tight.
Neither did I. And, especially right at the time of the incident of the theater thing, and he's like, yeah, in the house raids and all that shit, he was right there with him, and they all lived kind of almost commune style for a little while. And the chick from Goodfellas, I didn't realize was someone that he was with for a long time, and that was just a friend. Dude, yeah, they were like, we could be married together. Doesn't have to be a sexual thing or whatever, and I loved it. But then I said, yeah, fuck Phil Hartman.
Because he was kind of an asshole to him. Yeah.
on Stern, yeah, like he's with him all those years, and he went off and did SNL, and you know, and he's like, yeah, a lot of people are trying to sue him, and he goes, like he said, like some real fucked up shit about his whole thing without really asking Paul Reubens about it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm glad that Phil Hartman's wife was on the same side as Pee-wee.
Jesus Christ. For what it's worth, Stern was really leading him.
He wasn't
100% asking him a
was.
straightforward question, yeah.
I will give you that. And I was only half kidding about the
half
Phil
kidding
Hartman thing. Well, because I also said, man, he also was eating the cookies of the guy in Jingle All the Way. Put my cookies down! And he's like trying to basically rape his wife. He's a fuck. Yeah, I just don't like Phil Hartman. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. I'm just kidding.
Top topic.
That was a. It is the top topic time, and I am cashing in my top topic in the bank contract. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hateful Eight. You like that, motherfucker?
You can do whatever you want. That's fine.
Well, tell me what you think of the movie.
So, my favorite comedy albums of all time.
Oh, you're a bitch. Come on, man. I pulled the contract. Look it. See this? That right there is the contract. I got it. We both signed this.
The piece of paper that he just scribbled something. He drew a picture of a dick on.
Yeah, a picture of you. I fucking did. So what did you think of Hateful Eight?
My favorite comedy album is probably Back in Town, 1996 by George Carlin.
So you got Kurt Russell is in there. You got Samuel L. Jackson. And you also have Jennifer Jason Leigh, which is a pretty good character as well. What do you think of the plot?
Second favorite is Jammin' in New York.
All right, fuck off. All right. I can see you're not leading in. We're going to do the fucking comedy albums, you dickhead. God damn it. You know, next time I see you, remind me. I'm going to fucking choke you out. So, here we go. I will do the comedy albums. Number 1, Hateful Eight. Okay. So wait, did you say it was the 80s or like did you start 70s, 80s, whatever?
I didn't start anywhere in particular. I started with two of my favorites that are Carlin albums. Jammin' in New York was in 92, Back in Town was 96. I think Back in Town is the one that I had on CD that I played the most. That when I saw him live, he did sets from that.
Is Back in Town the one with the entire airline thing?
Uh-huh.
Yep. So I have 3 George Carlin from the 90s. I actually kind of went in order by year.
Okay.
Not like directly by year, but like here's the 70s, here's the 80s, here's the 90s. But since we're there, let's talk about Carlin for a minute. And, you know, everybody has seen a lot of the stand-ups. We're talking about audio, comedy albums. And it's how you first saw or heard this entire version, right, of their stand-up. And not necessarily just stand-up in some of these versions, but George Carlin, I did have Back in Town, Jammin' in New York, and I also had You're All Diseased.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too, actually.
But then also for the 80s for Carlin, I had A Place for My Stuff, and then Class Clown from the 70s.
I also have Class Clown on my list, yes. That's one of the ones I have on vinyl.
No shit. See, so did I. My parents did at the time. They had that, and from the 70s, one I can only say part of it. Richard Pryor, Bicentennial.
The N-word, yep.
The thing that was put over Carmelo Hayes' name.
Yeah.
Red Fox, You Gotta Wash Your Ass. They had that one. And then also Steve Martin, A Wild and Crazy Guy.
Okay, Steve Martin, I was going to say Let's Get Small, but that works as well.
Well, these are just the ones that I personally had listened to. I'm not going to name ones that I've never listened to. Be like, well, I heard it was a good album. I'm only going to talk about ones that I've actually listened to in my
fair
time.
Enough. Fair enough.
Do you have any more from the 70s or that era?
I've only got dates on some of these. I'm trying to think. I think Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip was in the 70s.
So that's in the 80s, and that's actually a part of mine as well, the Sunset Strip. And that is... that's fucking solid. It's funny because the other one, his other stand-up, and I can't think of the name of it right now. It's like Live something. That one I didn't catch until it was a visual of it. Like we'll say like the HBO. but I actually did listen to Live on Sunset Strip when I was a kid. Robin Williams, A Night at the Met, and then Rodney Dangerfield, No Respect.
Yeah, Rodney's on my list for sure.
I did listen to parts of this at one point, but Stephen Wright, I Have a Pony.
Oh, okay.
I liked hearing his talking, also known as Guy on the Couch from Half Baked. So that's pretty much all I have when it comes to the 80s, but in the 90s, these are going to be some random ones here in the order, okay?
All right.
But I'm going to finish off the comedian versions of this, okay? Like stand-up. So, Dice Man Cometh, which I think could be also part of 89, somewhere in there. But Dice Man Cometh from Andrew Dice Clay.
Mm.
And that's where he does, obviously, his nursery rhymes. Also does the camping trip with Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino, Eric Roberts, Robert De Niro, and John Travolta or something like that, and it's fucking hysterical. Sam Kinison, Live from Hell.
Yep.
Where he actually plays music in it. Jeff Foxworthy, You Might Be a Redneck If.
Boo.
Yeah, but I listened to it, I'm not going to lie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough.
And one last one is kind of from the same, well, he got mixed into the Redneck Comedy Tour or whatever it is, but Bill Engvall. Now, him, I liked. I had the cassette of him, and the album was Here's Your Sign. Have you ever listened to his stuff for Here's Your Sign? Do you know? No?
I got nothing.
To it?
Nope.
So, you give someone a sign that says, I'm stupid, when they ask stupid shit to you. Like, you're over on the side of the road, you change in a flat, someone goes, tire go flat? Nope, I was driving along, the R3 just swelled right up on me. Here's your sign. So, he's a good storyteller. I do like him. He's pretty funny. And then the last one is Dennis Leary, No Cure for Cancer.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. Actually, I didn't think to put that on there. Weezy and I quote that all the time. There's two of my favorites from that are, what are you? I'm an otter. What do you do? I swim around my back and do cute little otter tricks. You're free to go. What are you? I'm a cow. Get on the fucking truck. You're a baseball mitt. And then he does the rant on the Eagles. And he's like, everybody likes, what the fuck is it? Don Henley. Don Henley. I got 2 words for you, Don Henley. Joe fucking Walsh.
Did I miss any stand-up ones?
So there's 2, and I don't know if they count as, well, actually there's 3. And I'll start with 1. It's Eddie Murphy, Comedian. That ended up being the live show that they did on HBO. I don't know if it was Raw. I think it was the other
Delirious.
one. Delirious. Yep. It's that album. So that's an album. So there's that one. And then there's 2 that I know I saw on TV. I don't know if they released them as albums. It would have been on CD at the time if they did. And I did have one on CD, but that's because I downloaded it and copied it and put it on a disc. So it's Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker.
I was going to say they actually did release for that one because I do remember I was actually working at FYE.
Okay.
And I do remember them selling a copy of that on CD. So
there you go.
You are correct.
Very good. So that one, I love that one because I think that's the one.
Big piece of chicken.
I don't think it's the one that Michael Scott did the bit from, but
oh my god.
But it was the one he's talking about getting in an argument with his girlfriend at McDonald's, and he says, like they just go back and forth, and he goes, I would never ever hit a woman, but I'll shake the shit out of one. What the fuck is wrong with you? I just did the Michael Scott thing unknowingly.
Basically.
That's from 99. And then Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly. That is one of my all-time...
I don't think that was actually released.
You don't
audio.
think that was released?
That
all
was
right,
an HBO special. You probably just did what I did, the same thing. I had a bunch of things on CD from...
Yeah.
Was it fucking Napster,
LimeWire.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a lot of the same stuff as you. You didn't have the Comedian. I had Sunset Strip, but I also had No Respect. My Steve Martin was Let's Get Small, and Robin Williams' Night at the Met I had.
Yep. Another one they actually did release in 2002 on audio, but I never really listened to it, but because it was more of I watched it first, was Robin Williams Live on Broadway, 2002, HBO.
Okay.
That's the one where he puts his elbow right over his
Yeah.
face. Like, ladies,
Yeah.
is this what we look like? So that is a fucking 90-minute banger of his. Like one of my favorite stand-ups of all
Just
time.
coked out. He's sweating the whole
Oh,
fucking
100%.
time.
He's sweating his ass off, has 18 bottles of water right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Uses a good chunk of them. One is a prop once, maybe. But that's a solid one. But the only things when I kept saying to you stand-up is because now the comedy albums in the late 90s and then early 2000s started to change into other things. Adam Sandler was a game changer with his stuff, where it was a little bit of music, but also he had his own skits, and you would hear David Spade, Rob Schneider, I think Norm Macdonald would be in some of them, and you've heard a lot of them, like the
There's the Hanukkah song.
There's that. I was trying to think of
Chopping broccoli.
No, that's David, or that's Dana Carvey. I'm saying like Toll Booth Willie. He had a great bit with that. He had the goat that could talk on the farm, and he's like, "Hey, you guys went to the Ragu Festival, eh? Okay, how's it going, boys? You want to smoke some marijuana?" He was fucking, whatever. It was, that's actually pretty close, by the way. Then he even had a 10-minute goat song at one point during one of his other albums. The one. You don't remember this? Let Mama play with your cock and balls for a minute. It's okay. You don't remember the cock and balls
I'll
thing?
be honest with you, I was not a big Sandler fan.
Okay, all right. So then I'm also going to get into this as another person that kind of deserves it because they were always straight comedy. Every Weird Al album in the 80s and 90s and then probably early 2000s, not one song was made to be anything other than to make you laugh. And each, whether it was a parody or his own, what the fuck do you call that? Accordion version of his own songs that he does, the polka type shit.
Yep.
I think he was kind of a game changer as well, to be honest with you. One other musical one that I have listened to, and it's really horrible. It's called Joe Pesci. Vincent LaGuardia Gambini Sings Just For You. And it's a lot of the music that you hear in the background of My Cousin Vinny, and it's just him kind of talking a little bit over it and like his own version. He actually wanted to be a singer at one point in his life.
He did an album with the one guy that's in all the fucking other movies, Billy Batts.
Oh, I was like, did he ever talk about
Have you ever seen that picture?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's hilarious.
And the last one, and you're related to one of them, Frank.
Oh boy. Yep.
The Jerky Boys. I mean, that I know you've listened to, right? So
we had a copy of it, and I liked it, but you also have to understand that I incessantly was pestered with Frank Rizzo throughout high school. So I as much as I enjoyed I enjoyed some of the other skits, I just wanted them to die and go away forever. Or at least the kids that were constantly saying it. I did like Saul Rosenberg, I've got these warts on my ass. I called my doctor, I wanted some salve for my ass.
Back in the day, for some reason, in 1996, in Jerky Boys 2, you found it appropriate to laugh your fucking ass off about it, but the guy that calls the pizza shop, he's like, my family, everybody's throwing up over here. I'll kill you. I'll bomb your place, motherfucker. And it's like, back then, you're like, oh. And you're like, wow, that's really fucked up.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
The other one, the tennis ball machine. He took one his ass is blue. It's completely blue. Oh, God, their shit was great, man, Jerky Boys. And then the 2000s, the only thing I really have, and it's all musical, Tenacious D, Flight of the Conchords, which, heavily underrated if people haven't checked them out, and then Stephen Lynch. Stephen Lynch he was a Comedy Central kind of one, and I actually heard a couple of albums of his before I even saw him on TV. And he has a lot of songs that I ended up kind of incorporating into my songs that you've heard me do, or into my sets. Like the one he's like, talking to his daughter, and he's like, and I'll drive to the strip club, and if daddy plays his cards right, he'll bring home your new mommy tonight. It's funny fucking music. Flight of the Conchords, going back to them. Did you ever get into them or listen to or watch them on HBO?
Nah, I've seen bits and pieces here. Nothing against them, just never got into them.
Tenacious D, they were great, man. I loved the show, and it obviously didn't last really that long. They have a great concert live in London, which is just one of my favorite concerts of all time. They open with Flash.
Oh, nice.
The crowd loves it. Yeah, it's sick. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got from the 2000s. But like I said, stand up on CD music or on like something you can buy started to die out by like mid 90s anyway, right? It wasn't things you did, and at that point everybody was just downloading shit anyway, so there's no point. You could just, the favorite one you just saw on HBO or on Comedy Central, you can just download and listen to on audio.
Yep. Or pull it up on YouTube or
I heard people do that shit.
Yeah, pretty much everything's Netflix now. Like they have a ton of comedy specials, but those are videos. They're movies, right? It's not an album.
Which I was about to be like, did I tell you about this one stand-up comedian? I'm like, yes, I did. We did a whole fucking topic on this. Let's not go down that avenue. So anyway, what did you think about Hateful Eight? Just say it.
Well, the weird thing was I watched the Korean version, so it was really hard to follow.
Like you just had the subtitles on? Or...
Oh, no, they were speaking full Korean. Different actors in some scenes, too. They actually spliced some in there. Yeah. I don't know how they ended up in Tijuana with the donkey, but that was just weird.
My question is, why are you fucking with me? Why can't we just talk about the movie?
Because it's easy. It's easy and fun.
See, but here's the thing. What if when we hang up on this call here, since I'm the editor of this show, I just put it in at the very end. I just thought about Hateful Eight.
That's fine. I'd appreciate your review. I'd love to hear what you thought about the movie. Just not right now.
And then you... Well, I think Tarantino actually knocked it out of the park with the movie.
Very good.
Go fuck yourself, man. Honestly, just...
I plan on that later, too.
Yeah, put your own thumb up your ass. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Top of Wrestling Podcast. We are going to be back next week. She works hard for the money. The thumbing. Anyway, we are going to be back next week, and... Again, no pay-per-views really going on this weekend, but the following week we will be covering, which will be the King of the Ring, and then following up that, a couple weeks later, we have AEW All In. But other than that, we'll be bringing back everything else next week, including a movie of the week. And no, I'm not even going to fucking pull a fucking swerve and do Hateful Eight. I'm actually curious, have you seen either of these movies that are on the dock for next week?
I have not, and not because I don't like an actor or the plot or the premise or anything. It's just all the movies out there, it's hard to find time.
Sure, 100%. I do want to talk about it next week just because I was impressed because I wanted to not watch it. I was like, not
oh, really?
Yeah, and then I was like, motherfucker, where's number 2? And went right into it. I was like,
shit.
I liked it that much. So we'll get into those next week. But I'm Professor. I bid you a farewell. He's ODM. He's going to give you any thought in the world minus the movie Hateful Eight. Go.
Thanks, Professor. Okay, you want me to read my review? Here's my review. Hello, fellow American. This you should vote me. I leave power. Good. Thank you. If you vote me, I am hot. What? Taxes. They'll be lower. Son. The Democratic vote for me is right thing to do, Philadelphia. So do. This doesn't make any sense. The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM, the Doc, Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
about anything we talked about, or just like
about the visit? I was probably 13 beers deep at that point, so I probably don't remember much.
We had a phone call
last night.
I was like, well, I'm bourbon deep. Let's fucking do it.
Oh God, dude, I was fucking. Wait, you talking about when you and I talked?
Yeah.
No, that was Saturday.
Oh, what, Sunday you were?
Sunday, yeah, yesterday, Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
I think the final count was 16.
That's the way to celebrate Father's Day. And speaking of, he actually said, he's like, are you going to come for Joe's birthday? He goes, it's fucking fun. He cooks out, we just sit there.
Yeah.
He goes, that's what he wants for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, let me get this straight. You cook, I eat. I go, is there any money in it for me?
Nice. Yeah, relax. All right, well, while you're coughing, I'll tell you a quick something. So, Sunday, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up, you pussy. So, Sunday morning we had a game, and it did not go well, and it started off my Father's Day not so great. And I come home, and Jackie was going up to the smoke shop right up the road to get my dad some cigars. And she comes back, and I'm starting to prep food for the smoker, and she gives me a bag. She's like, open this before your parents come over. So there's a cigar in there. She bought me a fucking new bowl.
Oh, nice.
Very cool looking. I'm like, no shit. All right. Somebody wants a thumb in their ass, I guess. But
she worked hard for the thumbing, so hard for the thumbing. So you better thumb her right.
You get really gangster, you go in with both thumbs at the same time, but that's besides the point. So, well, not kind of. So my parents come over. Jackie was still upstairs, and I'm with my parents. We're sitting in the gazebo, and she's like, "Oh, it looks," because the last time they were here, it wasn't fully put together yet. So I'm like, "Yeah, it's nice, man." It's even got it's got the bug netting, but it also has like privacy curtains. My mom goes, "Oh, all right, I know what you guys are going to be doing later." I'm like, "Ma, can you please not talk to me about me banging my wife, please?"
You have 2 kids. I'm pretty sure she knows you fuck.
I know. She doesn't have to fucking suggest it.
She's just telling you it's what
I should be doing.
Your father will be doing every night.
That's fantastic. Next slide.